Bills versus Ravens, AFC Championship game on the line, is going to face the Commanders in the NFC Championship on the other side. I am Scott McGregor. Welcome to another episode of Bills Postgame. We're going to find out those answers when whether or not the Bills advance or the Ravens advance right now on this episode of Bills Postgame. Let's get started. Welcome to Sports for Beginners. This is the show where I cover the Pittsburgh Penguins, Toronto Blue Jays, and take you on a journey through the world of sports from the fans' perspective. Here is your host, Scott McGregor. Let's have some fun.
It's a massive weekend in the fighting community.
Many people dub this their favorite weekend of football.
To be honest, fights like these, they don't come around all that often.
Bills, Ravens.
Fellas, this is it. This is the good stuff.
It doesn't get any better than this.
And now, everything's on the line. It's Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson.
Battle of the MVPs. This is what you want.
This is a dream matchup.
Two guys who are anything but ordinary.
They're both unique in their own ways.
Sunday night, under the lights in Orchard Park.
How fun does a home game at Buffalo feel in the playoffs?
Bills Mafia is going to be there rocking.
The disrespect, palpable.
Vegas likes the Ravens.
I'm not surprised at all.
And so in the words of the great Josh Allen,
Okay.
The moment you've all been waiting for. From the Showdown Lamar Stadium in Orchard Park, New York. It's time! 4 rounds with a trip to the AFC Championship on the line. Introducing first, fighting out of Baltimore, Maryland, led by number 8, quarterback Lamar Jackson, the Baltimore Ravens. And fighting out of Buffalo, New York, led by number 17, quarterback Josh Allen. Coming in with a record of 14 wins and 4 losses, the number 2 seed, the Buffalo Bills. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now?
What's going on, Bills Mafia? Happy Victory Monday to you. The Buffalo Bills defeated the Baltimore Ravens 27-25, and it sets up a interesting win for a MVP revenge game. The Buffalo Bills a couple of weeks ago, lost to the Baltimore Ravens early on in the season, 35-10. Not the case in the playoffs, considering how both teams ended the season. Bills were 13-4. The Ravens 12-5. This sets up a matchup that has us looking back at week 11. Remember that tiebreaker the Bills held? Well, you know how close it was? I mean, at this point, you kind of wonder, why isn't it Kansas City coming to Buffalo? Well, the reason for that is because the Bills ended up playing as the number 2 seed, and that's okay. So, how did this quote unquote MVP fight night showdown go down? Well, we're going to get to that in a moment. But as we always do on a Bills post-game show like this one, let's talk about our coaches and quarterbacks. We know the quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson. We know Josh Allen. So that just leaves us with the head coaches. And for the Baltimore Ravens in this one, it was John Harbaugh. It was also Sean McDermott on the other side of the ball. And you got Bobby Babbage and as the defensive coordinator for the Bills. You got Joe Brady as the offensive coordinator and so much more. But regardless, we're just focused on we're just focused on we're just focused on Lamar Jackson versus Josh Allen. And I guess you gotta focus on Derrick Henry versus James Cook. Now, who had the better week? Well, by far, I would say, I guess, maybe not James Cook, but definitely, maybe we'll say Derrick Henry. Maybe we'll say Derrick Henry. All right. With that being said, speaking of that, why don't we get into it now that we've got our coaches out of the way? Why don't we get into it with our first half scoring, and then when we take our second break, we'll get into the second half scoring. By the way, it started, even though Buffalo got the ball in that second half, it started with Baltimore scoring twice. And Derrick Henry did score on one of those plays. But let's talk about the first half scoring before we take our first regular program. Here we go. Orchard Park, New York, the Bills are 9-0 at home, have not lost a game even since the regular season ended when they had a 8-0 home record. They have not lost at home at all. No, they have not lost at home. If they win this one, not only do they advance to the AFC Championship game, but they also stay undefeated. They stay undefeated at home, making it a perfect 10-0 at home. Here's how it started. Well, a little bit of deja vu for the Bills, shall we say. A little bit of deja vu for the Bills, shall we say. As just like last week against the Broncos in the wild card round, Lamar Jackson does exactly what Bo Nix does in the first quarter. Rashad Bateman, 16-yard touchdown. Justin Tucker, extra point, up and good. Baltimore takes the lead early, 7-0. Ray Davis, however, a quick counter punch, 1-yard touchdown. Tyler Bass, extra point, up and good, 7-7. Ravens and Bills at the end of one quarter of play. Second quarter, here we go. Josh Allen, 1-yard touchdown for Josh. Extra point by Tyler Bass. Up and good. Bills go ahead by 7. The Bills will go ahead by 7 points. But that would later go to a 4-point lead as Justin Tucker nails a 26-yard field goal. It's now a 4-point lead, 14-10 on the Josh Allen touchdown. It became 14-7 Buffalo. Now it's 14-10 Buffalo. This time, Josh, later, just before we get to the half, at 16 seconds on the clock, Josh. Going to the right. He went to the left before, now he's going to the right. But he actually kind of went up the middle there. 4-yard touchdown. It's now 20-10, Buffalo. Buffalo up by 10 points. To go up 11, Tyler Bass. Extra point. Up. And in the book. Bills lead by 11 at the half. It's 21-10 at the half, Buffalo. Third and fourth quarter coming up in just a matter of moments. But first, take a quick word from our good buddies over at Broadcast Map and those who are making our day brighter one song at a time. You know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about SienaT Radio, Victory Monday, Bills, Ravens, Revenge/MVP game between Lamar and Josh continues in a moment. When we continue, third quarter, fourth quarter scoring, plus stats from the game, and before we get to the play of the game, what else went on in Sunday? Who are the Commanders facing this coming Sunday? More likely, where are they headed? You'll find out all those answers when Bill's postgame continues. And we also want to get into game balls of the game, and the play of the game is also still to come. So be sure to stick with us. Also still to come, before we look ahead to the Bills' next opponent at the AFC Championship game, Sean McDermott, Josh Allen, in the locker room right after the victory, a close one. And in the immortal words of Kansas City Chiefs head coach Andy Reid, I'm getting way too old for this. I mean, I'm not. I don't know if I'm getting way too old for this, but I'm gonna tell you right now, Bills Mafia, it's looking really, really good for the Buffalo Bills. But no, I'm not celebrating just yet. I'm not celebrating just yet. We have business to attend to with the Kansas City Chiefs. Oops, I just spoiled their plan next. Well, I suppose we would find out sooner or later in the program. Anyways, we'll get ready for that one by the time the show is up. Let's take a word from Broadcast Map and SienaT Radio, and we'll be back after those words with the fourth and third quarter scoring, game stats, and what went down elsewhere on Sunday to set up Commanders Eagles and Bills Chiefs. How did the Eagles fare against the Rams to determine Saquon Barkley and the Eagles hosting the NFC Championship game? Also, by the time the show ends, we will reveal to you what time each game is at on Sunday. And spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. How about some Championship Sunday pregame? That's right. Before they kick off is back for the AFC Championship game ahead of Chiefs and Bills. Will Thomas join us? Stay tuned. Back in a moment.
Looking for conversations on the world of broadcasting, sports media, and from time to time, my favorite sports teams? Listen to Broadcast Map with me, Ali Moosa. To learn more about the show and to view the upcoming schedule, like the Broadcast Map Facebook page. Search Broadcast Map.
Looking for conversations on books and more, as well as tutorials on using your favorite devices and applications? You've come to the right place. Join us weekly on Spicy Techy, where Ali and Sienna provide insightful conversations, as well as useful tips and tricks to help you along on your technological journey. To learn more, tune into the show and like the Spicy Techy Facebook page. Search for Spicy Techy.
In case you missed it early on, for Bills Mafia fans who are just joining us here, happy Victory Monday to you. Buffalo defeated Baltimore 27-25, and we're just about ready to go into it all. We started with the first half after going over our head coaches in John Harbaugh, Lamar Jackson as the quarterback for the Baltimore Ravens, and of course, John McDermott and Josh Allen. You'll hear from those men in an audio format prior to our last segment of the program. And you know what else you're going to hear? Audio format right after we are wrapping up here. Win or lose, whether it's the end of the season or we are continuing. I say that because we are down in the playoffs right now, and the Bills have made it past the wild card. They beat the Broncos 31-7. Won a close one against the Ravens 27-25. We're going to break down the third and fourth quarter in a second. But now they are faced with the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. We're going to talk about them over the course of the program, so be sure to stick with us. With that said, before we get to the game stats, as that is part of this program segment, let's get into the third and fourth quarter. When we last left, we were at the halftime mark where the Bills were leading by 11, 21-10. How did the second half start? Here we go. Justin Tucker, 47-yard field goal. Well, that cuts the lead now. It's now 21-13. Baltimore's getting close here. Oh, by the way, the 11-point deficit is the largest deficit at halftime the Ravens have faced this season, and in the playoffs, rather. They are now down by 8 with that field goal by Justin Tucker. Then Derrick Henry. Thomas and I talked about it in the pregame show. Well, Thomas mentioned it early. You can't let Derrick Henry get going. 5-yard touchdown for the King. Henry puts this game within reach. Well, I mean, the field goal kind of puts it in reach at an 8-point game. It's a one-score game. And this 5-yard touchdown by Derrick Henry makes it 21-19. It could very well have been 21-21 if Lamar Jackson was able to complete the pass to Isaiah Likely, but the Bills avoid the two-point conversion by Isaiah Likely and Lamar Jackson. So they lead by 2 points. It's a safety. And that is where the game would stand heading into the fourth quarter of play. In the fourth quarter, Bills up by 2. Can they get up by a few more? Yes, they can. Fast. 51-yard field goal puts the Bills up by 5. It's 24-19 Buffalo. Of course, at the end of 3 quarters of play, it was 21-19 Buffalo. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens were coming for Buffalo, and they were still coming in the fourth quarter. But this ultimately ended the game. First, let's go back to the field goal. So the first field goal by Tyler Bass in the fourth quarter was a 51-yarder. He hit it. Bills go up by 5. It's 24-19 Buffalo. Next time the Bills drive stalls out, it's a win for the Baltimore defense, but a loss when it comes to points. Because Tyler Bass, this time he's got to hit one from 21 yards. And he does. So now it's 27-19. Bills on top once again by 8. The Ravens take that score down as Jackson finds Isaiah Likely for the 24-yard touchdown. But Mark Andrews, the opportunity to tie this one up at 27 apiece. And he fails to get the pass from Jackson. The Bills avoid disaster as they go on to win 27-25. Isaiah Likely unable, and I say unable, to catch the ball cleanly from Jackson. And as a result, the Ravens fall 27-25 to the Bills. Now, one of the huge things to point out here, as we're going to get to stats just in a second, is the fact that the Ravens bagged Josh Allen once, but he only lost 1 yard. Josh also didn't throw any touchdown passes. But you know what he did do? He scored twice on the ground. And Ray Davis scored on the ground as well. Had a couple of fumble recoveries by Von Miller and Terrell Bernard. Taylor Rapp did not return to the game after suffering a hip injury. Picked up an interception before he got injured on one of those last plays that he would play in. And that would be the only interception the Bills would get, despite bagging Lamar Jackson twice for 14 yards. And speaking of that, let's get into the other stats of the game. Starting with the time of possession, the Bills had the ball for 31 minutes and 44 seconds. The Ravens had the ball for 28 minutes and 6 seconds. 23 first downs in total for the Ravens. They kind of win that battle by 3 first downs. But no penalty first down for Baltimore. Penalty first down for the Buffalo Bills. 6 passing first downs for Buffalo. 12 rushing first down. The Bills were 5 of 11 on third down efficiency. On fourth down efficiency, they were perfect, 1 for 1. They finished the game with 173 yards, 59 plays called, averaging 4.6 yards per play. Josh Allen threw for 127 yards, completing 16 of his 20 passing attempts, averaging 5.5 yards per pass. Lost only 1 yard on 1 sack that Ravens got on him. The Bills rushed the ball for 147 yards, 36 rushes, 4.1 yards per run. In the red zone, the Bills were 3 of 4, 2 for 3 in goal-to-go efficiency. They had 1 penalty for 10 yards, 5 penalties to the Ravens for 43 yards. No turnovers for Buffalo, no fumbles lost, no interceptions thrown by Josh. 3 touchdowns all on the ground, 2 by Josh, 1 by Ray Davis. No passing touchdowns. Defense special team touchdowns, nope. 25 return yards on kickoff returns, no interception yards, no punt yards for Buffalo, no safety for either team, no interception yards for Baltimore, 5 attempts on kickoff for 134 yards, 16 yards returned on the 1 punt return, and 150 return yards for Baltimore. No defense special team touchdown for them. 2 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown, 3 touchdowns in total. An interception thrown to Taylor Rapp by Lamar Jackson. And we also saw 3 fumbles in this game for Baltimore. They lost 2 of those fumbles, recovered by Von Miller and Terrell Bernard of Buffalo. Bills winning the turnover battle 3-0. And goal-to-go efficiency, 1 for 2 the Ravens. They were 2 for 3 in the red zone, averaging 5.9 yards per rush. In 30 rushes, they rushed for 176 yards. Lost 14 yards on 2 sacks that Lamar Jackson was bagged on. Averaged 8.9 yards pass. Jackson threw for 254 yards. Completed 18 of 25 completion attempts. Averaging 7.3 yards per play. And, of course, 8.9 yards per pass. 57 plays called by the Ravens. They end their total offense with 416 yards total. They were 7 of 10 on third down. Perfect on fourth down at 1 for 1. No penalties in the first down marker. 10 passing and 13 rushing first down. And Baltimore, once again, like I said earlier on, they had a time of possession of 28 minutes and 16 seconds. All right. Play of the game coming up in a little bit. We also have our game balls of the game, and then we look ahead to Chiefs Bills. That coming up after our victory speech from Sean McDermott and Josh Allen. That's in audio format. I'll give you some of my thoughts on the Chiefs and the Bills. What I want to know as we head into the final moments of this program of Bills post game, I want to know what who would you like to face if the Bills, if the Bills, if the Bills, it's looking pretty good for our Bills team right now, Bills Mafia, but if the Bills were able to make it into February to take on one of the two remaining teams in the NFC, who would you like to face between the Commanders and the Eagles? Who would you like to face? Think about it while we take this time right now before we take our second break of the program to bring you what went down on Sunday, in Divisional Sunday afternoon, which takes us to Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, for a showdown with the Rams and the Eagles. And this one, well, the score is close, 28-22. The Eagles hang on to win this one, 28 to 22. They win by just a touchdown, not the extra point, but just a touchdown. Forget the number 7. They win by 6. So 2 field goals to the exact is what they win by. But you gotta love Saquon. You gotta love what Saquon Barkley was able to do in this one. You gotta love what Saquon Barkley was able to do in this game. Runs for 78 and 62-yard touchdowns in the snow. Well, you know what the old song sang in that Frozen song for Disney? The cold never bothered me anyway. And that's exactly what Saquon Barkley put on. He put on a show in Philadelphia as the Eagles move on to the conference, and they will host the Commanders. So, with that being said, the time for Championship Sunday coming up in a matter of moments. Game balls of the game and the play of the game coming up in a matter of moments as well. It's all coming up next. Then, after a 30-second timeout, my thoughts on facing the Chiefs in what I'm sure is going to be an interesting showdown between the Chiefs and the Bills, and what's coming up on Sports for Beginners in our bonus coverage. All that coming up after a 30-second timeout. But first, we're going to take a word from on the ice and behind the benches and be right back to bring you our divisional play of the game for the Buffalo Bills. And of course, in this game against the Ravens, it's our play of the game coming up. Plus, game balls of the game to both sides, the Ravens and the Bills. So be sure to stick with us because that is coming up next. Then we'll take 30 seconds to wrap up Bills post game. after the 30 seconds before we come back to the program, John McDermott and Josh Allen in the locker room. They bring us back after the 30-second timeout, which is just one break away. The play of the game and the game balls are next. Stick with us as Victory Monday continues in a moment.
Looking for a good hockey podcast that covers your favorite hockey teams and mine? Check out On the Ice and Behind the Benches, where we chat about our favorite hockey teams from puck drop to the last play of the action. To learn more, follow the On the Ice and Behind the Benches Facebook page. Search On the Ice and Behind the Benches. Looking for a sports podcast that covers sports weekly as well as gets you set up for the day? Check out Weekly in Sports with me, Scott McGregor. We give some shout-outs of the week to podcasts like this one and those who do them. Discuss the Blue Jays, Bills, Raptors, and more. To learn more, check out the Sports for Beginners Facebook page. Search Sports for Beginners.
Rolling along here on Bills postgame. Bills beat the Ravens 27-25. Bills Mafia. They might do it this year. They might do it this year. They might do it this year. But we got to get by Andy Reid and the Chiefs. My thoughts on that coming up in a moment. Notice. Of course, we want to take a 30-second timeout to do that. But before we can get to thinking about the Chiefs, and of course, yes, of course, I said of course, Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and company, before we can worry about them, let's talk about our play of the game from this one. And honestly, forget the scoring. Forget the scoring. Forget the scoring right now. I mean, the scoring is what it is, but my play of the game. We gotta go back to that play. We gotta go back to that first fumble in the game. We gotta go back to the first fumble in the game. I don't know what to say. Fumble by the fumble forced. The fumble that was forced in this game. Oh man. You gotta go back to the fumble in this game that the Ravens lost when it came down to it, because guess what? One of those fumble. Yeah, I'm talking about the fumble recovered by Von Miller. Oh, it was ruled a sack. It was ruled a sack on it. So we're talking about that sack fumble. Hamlin was in there to get the ball out of Jackson's hand, and Von Miller almost took it to the house. He almost took it to the house. So Von Miller's strip sack, good enough for my play of the game. I should say Damar Hamlin's strip sack, which bagged Lamar, and also Von Miller recovered that fumble, is what it turned out to be. And on the way to that, he not only did that, but he also might have taken the ball to the house in that play. And that was a sack right after the Taylor Rapp interception the previous drive. Right after the previous drive was an interception. The sack by Damar Hamlin, recovered by Von Miller, turned into a fumble. That's good enough for my play of the game. Of course, by this time we were tied at 7-7, but our final score 27-25 Buffalo over the Ravens. All right, time now for the game balls. I was going to say pucks, but no, we're talking football. Game balls of the game. Have a couple that I want to give out to the Bills here, but first let's give the Ravens their flowers, and I'm going to give them at least two. So you got to give Lamar Jackson his flowers here. I mean, first of all, it was not really a good day for him, and Tracy Wolfson, one of the sideline reporters, said after the pick to Taylor Rapp that Lamar was on the sideline was on the Baltimore sideline saying to everyone, you know, that's my bad, that's my bad, that's my bad, my bad, my bad. I didn't mean, like, you know, I didn't mean to throw a pick here. I mean, yeah, he also got sacked twice, but you know what? 18 completions out of 25. Yeah, that's not really a good script for Lamar Jackson, but hey, at least you threw more than under 100 yards for the game. Oh, by the way, Derrick Henry, 16 carries, 84 yards. Let's see. Yeah, we're going to give a game ball of the game to Lamar Jackson. Derrick Henry, he's also going to get one. Really like what I saw from Derrick Henry, but the Bills are going to need to really adjust when stopping the run game in Baltimore or against Kansas City, mind you, where we play on Championship Sunday. Isaiah Likely, 5 targets, 4 catches, 73 yards, 18.2 yards averaged on a catch. Not too shabby for Isaiah Likely. We're going to go with, you know what? Why not? We'll give each team 3. Well, at least we'll give Baltimore 3. I might give Buffalo 4. But you know what? Here we go. Isaiah Likely, Lamar Jackson, and Derrick Henry stand out to me as game ball of the game recipients for Baltimore. Now for Buffalo. Oh man, there's a ton of people I could choose, but if we're gonna go with 3, which is what I want to settle on, gotta start with Josh Allen. I'm gonna make my way over to Ray Davis. Not exactly a lot of yards rushing, but both him and Josh Allen scored touchdown. Josh scored twice on the ground. Ray Davis scored once on the ground. But those were the three touchdowns scored by Buffalo. They did not throw a passing touchdown. But you know what? If you're going to have to win the game on the ground, you're going to have to do what you got to do to win. James Cook, 67 yards, 3.9 yards average, 11 yards his longest run. Josh Allen also in the run game, 20 yards on 10 carries, averaging 2 yards a carry. 7 yards his longest run. So we're going to go with Josh Allen, James Cook. Ray Davis is also going to get a game ball. And how about the performance? How about the performance from Kale Shakir? How about the performance from Kale Shakir? 7 targets, 6 catches, 76 yards, 67 yards, excuse me, not 76. 67 yards, averaging 11.2 yards per carry. His longest catch, by the way, was a 34-yarder. Not too shabby for Kale Shakir. Then you also got to give some credit to the rookies in Curtis Samuel, Keon Coleman, and Dalton Kincaid. But you know what? Let's just stick to Shakir, Allen, Davis, and Cook. Those are our game balls of the game for Buffalo. 3 guys for Baltimore: Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, and Isaiah Likely. We're going to go with Isaiah Likely. And that ultimately wraps that one up. So we're down to the last minute of the show after this quick timeout from our friends over at SienaT Radio, specifically from Spicy Techy. Bills postgame will wrap it up and set up Chief at, how about them Bills? Bills, Chiefs, Championship Sunday. I can't wait. Plus, what's coming up on Sports for Beginners? Stick with us for that. It happens in about 30 seconds as we wrap up previewing Chiefs, Bills. And yes, the Bills won the turnover battle. But is that enough going forward? You know what? I honestly don't think it is, because if you're facing a team like Kansas City, we're gonna see some interesting stuff happen. More on that when we return in a moment. And before we are returning, you're gonna hear, as we return from our 30-second timeout, Josh Allen and Sean McDermott. Stick tight. Bills Mafia Shout is coming up. Stick tight with me. Back in 30 seconds to wrap it up. Stick with me.
SienaT Radio will never give you up. They will never let you down. Nor will they run around or desert you. So join Nick Astley for The Melting Pot every Saturday on SienaT Radio. Hang on a minute. He's not Nick Astley. Oh, jings, I've done it wrong. Anyway, just join Nick for The Melting Pot on SienaT Radio.
Hey, that's 10-0. 10-0 at home this year. Great. All 3 phases, man, right? All 3 phases. A lot to work on, plenty to work on. It just goes to show you, when you take care of the football and you take the football away and you play with good, strong fundamentals, that's what the game comes down to, man, right? The ball and fundamentals. I'm so damn proud of you guys, man. Resilient, tough. That is Buffalo to a core, baby. You embody this damn city and these fans, right? I know we got a heck of a lot to work on. Take care of yourselves tonight. Be humble. We got a big one coming up Sunday, right? On the road.
17. Hey, it takes everybody, right? It takes everybody. I'm so fucking proud of you guys. I'm so proud of everybody in this room. You are here for a reason. Don't forget that. It takes every single one of us. We're not done yet. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
And then there were 4. It all comes down to this: Kansas City versus Buffalo. If the Chiefs win, they are a game away from three-peating. back-to-back Super Bowls. And if the Bills win, they are a game away from getting us all, Bills Mafia, getting us all what we want. What we want is the championship. We want that Lombardi trophy. Oh, we've pictured it so many times. The trophy, the celebrations, the hazy halos, all the victory cigars outside of City Hall in Western New York. Is this the year that the Bills finally do it? Well, they're going to have Saquon Barkley or Jaden Daniels to deal with, regardless on who wins that NFC matchup. The winner of that matchup will face either Buffalo or Kansas City. I don't know about you, Bills Mafia, but if I'm Sean McDermott, I'm sticking to what I said prior to Week 18, and I'm thinking, like, you know what? We got the 2 seed. We're going to try our best and bring our best game plan against a team that we beat in Week 11, and we also know is going to be tough to beat in the playoffs. So, the way I see it, I told you. If we weren't going to get the number 1 seed, if the Bills were not going to get the number 1 seed, I told you, Bills Mafia. I told you. We're just going to have to go and beat the Chiefs, and that's exactly what we're going to have to do on Sunday. Winning the turnover battle is essential. But is that going to be enough going forward? No, I don't think so. And here's why. Because you're going to have to do a lot more than win the turnover battle. You're going to have to make good decisions with the football. You're going to have to make good decisions defensively. And most importantly, you are going to have to make sure that you have the lead by a comfortable margin. But again, when we get to the lead thing, since when is any lead ever safe in the NFL? You never know when a lead is going to drop. The one thing you don't want to do, especially against the Chiefs right now, is have Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and all of the Chiefs. The one thing the Bills Mafia and Buffalo doesn't want to do is let Kansas City have their way. Everybody talks about 13 seconds. Well, that is a factor. But you know what? It's a new year, new season, new Bills and Chiefs team. The Bills and the Chiefs are going to have to be ready for a battle that I'm sure is going to be a good one on Sunday night on CBS. Oh yeah, that brings me to our timing, as we are now just a few minutes away from Shout. Sean McDermott and Josh Allen brought us back in. Now we're just a few minutes away from the Shout song closing us out. So, here is your Championship Sunday window. We start with the NFC at 3 p.m. Eastern. The Eagles hosting the Commanders and Jaden Daniels. That's at 3 p.m. And we will break down that game as it's going on our pregame show, keeping an eye on the game. On our before they kick off pregame show, our coverage will get started just a just about an hour before the game. Yeah, we'll get started an hour before the game between the Chiefs and the Bills. Our pregame coverage will get started just an hour before the game. So be sure you don't miss that one. And we will be covering the Eagles and the Commanders. You'll hear Sean McDermott and Pete Tasker talking what it's going to take down the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. And speaking of that comes your way at 6:30 p.m. Eastern to close out Championship Sunday. The Super Bowl Sunday is February 9th, 2025. So before that, the AFC and the NFC, after the skills competition, will meet in some flag football finals for a great NFL All-Star game. The NFL Pro Bowl follows before we get to the championship day. Super Bowl Sunday is a few weeks away from this Sunday. Who's it going to be? For us, we hope it's going to be Buffalo, but who's it going to be on the NFC side? Is it going to be the Eagles? Is it going to be the Commanders? Are we going to have to deal with Jaden Daniels? Are we going to have to deal with Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts? We're going to find out all of that by the end of Championship Sunday. Right now, 1 week, one game at a time. We're almost there, Bills Mafia. Think about it over the course of the week as we enjoy Victory Monday and get ready for the Chiefs on Sunday. Who do we want to face at Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans? Should the Bills get past the Chiefs? Should the Bills get past the number 1 seed, Kansas City Chiefs? We want the Commanders. We want Saquon Barkley and the Eagles. Decision's up to us, but it's also up to Kansas City fans. Have a great Victory Monday, everybody. My name is Scott. It's time to shout. It's a big weekend for the Buffalo Bills this weekend. It's time to shout. I wanted to get into some things coming up on Sports for Beginners, but no, we're going to leave it where it is right now. But the one thing I will tease, we are a go. We are a go in LA. We are a go in LA. So our post-game show, Penguins and Kings, comes your way on Tuesday. Penguin fans and Kings fans, I will see you then. And Bills Mafia, I will see you on Sunday for Chiefs Bills post-game and pre-game. Game time is 6:30 p.m. Eastern this Sunday, and it's a shot at the AFC Championship to represent the AFC and get a shot at that Lombardi Trophy in a few Sundays from this Sunday. It's time to shout. My name is Scott McGregor. This is going to do it for another episode of Bills Postgame. Thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy your Victory Monday. Enjoy the week. Let's have a week. Let's go Buffalo. Bills, Chiefs, next time on Bills Postgame, and next time on Before They Kick Off, before the game. I will see you then, Bills Mafia. Let's go, Bills! I will catch you on the flip side. Shout, take it away. I'll see you on Championship Sunday, Bills Mafia.
The Bills make me wanna shout, kick your heels up and shout, throw your hands up and shout, throw your head back and shout. Come on now, the Bills are making it happen now. Stand up now, come on and shout. Yeah, 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 yeah. Say you will. Shout it right now, baby. Say you will. Come on, come on. Say you will. Come on and shout. Say you will. Yeah. Shout. Buffalo's happening now. Shout. We're on the move now. Shout. The Bills are happening now. Shout. They're making it happen now. Shout. You got the spirit. Shout. A lot of spirit, yeah. Shout. You got the spirit. Shout. Just watch it happen now. Make me wanna shout.
Thank you so much for listening to Sports for Beginners. If you would like to learn more about the show, you can visit the podcast Facebook page or visit the official website. You can also send us an email at sportsforbeginnerspodcast8231@gmail.com. As we always remind you, it is not goodbye, it is until next time.